New construction home prices are falling and housing starts are on a decline. Could this mean we're headed toward a crash like in 2008? In this video, I'll answer that question and talk about the current state of new construction homes. Is it a good time to buy a new construction home? And talk about a major red flag that I've seen recently with new construction homes. If you go on your favorite real estate website like Realtor.com or Zillow, you may have noticed that a lot of new construction homes are reducing their price. To be clear, when I'm talking about new construction homes, we're talking about builders that are building communities, not just a one-off custom home. In some areas, these price reductions have been going on for a little while now. So does that mean that the homes are overpriced? It's very possible. I think it's overpriced in either one of two ways. So one way is the home itself is overpriced. What I see sometimes is with new construction homes is obviously the builders are trying to make as much money as they can, so they're going to put the price as high as they think they can go. But I've also seen that builders have been kind of good about looking at the market, seeing what's going on, and reading the room, so to speak, and doing price reductions if the homes are priced too high. The second way that new construction homes are overpriced is basically the whole area is overpriced, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I was looking at the housing starts chart, and I noticed that in 2006, that's when the housing starts started to slow down pretty significantly. It's quite possible that new construction communities back then started to see where the housing market was trending and that in 2008, the housing market would eventually crash. Now, I've noticed that housing starts have started to drop a little over the summer. They did spike just a little bit, but now housing starts are starting to lower. This could be an indicator for a housing market crash. My best guess, though, is that new construction communities, they're trying to be very conservative so they don't have a repeat of what happened in 2008, where basically they had a whole bunch of homes and they couldn't sell them. And it took a really long time for people to recover. A lot of new construction builders are not in the business anymore that were in the business back then. It's possible that builders have learned their lesson and they're trying to take things slow. That's why we may not be seeing a lot of housing starts. That's why they're doing these price reductions, because they don't want homes to be on the market for a while. I don't think that the current price cuts that we're seeing on new construction homes are a clear indicator that the housing market is going to crash soon, but you really never know. Another key indicator that new construction builders are trying to sell the homes and not have a backlog of inventory is incentives that they're offering. So sometimes they might be offering a lower interest rate from the builder's preferred lender. They can also do closing costs or design credits. There are all kinds of different incentives that home builders will give you, and it seems like nowadays they're giving you a lot more than they did a year or two ago. So with all these incentives, is it a good time to buy a new construction home? Obviously, that's going to depend. Real estate is hyper-local. In some areas, real estate is still doing pretty well. Home prices are rising, and in other places, real estate isn't doing as well, and prices are dropping. Now, when I talk about prices rising and dropping, what I'm talking about is the overall market and not the individual house. Some markets are trending up and some are trending down, and some are kind of just even for right now. So is it a good time to buy a new construction home? Well, when you take into consideration that you can get a lower interest rate, I've seen some interest rates being offered around 4.5%, 5%, 6%, which is pretty good when you compare it with what interest rates currently are, which is about 8%. And then when we take into consideration that the home prices are being reduced, there can be a good case for it being a good time to buy. Now, I want to be very mindful when I'm saying it could be a good time to buy new construction, because ultimately, is it a great time to buy a home? No, not for most people, but there are some people that are in a financial spot where they're stable, they have savings, they have a stable job, and they know that they're going to live in the home for a while. I'd really like people to commit closer to 10 years because I think it gives you more time for the housing market to correct itself. And if the prices do decrease a little bit, it won't affect you as much if you're not going to sell the home for 10 plus years. So basically, is it a good time to buy? Not necessarily. Is it a good opportunity to find a new construction home right now? Absolutely, but only if it makes sense for your personal situation. Now, something to consider is that new construction homes are usually more expensive than resale homes. So what I would do is have my real estate agent do a comparative market analysis for the area that I'm buying in. If you need help finding a realtor, I can help you. The link is in the description. When you're doing comps in areas where there are a lot of new construction homes, they can be kind of difficult to figure out exactly a good price for these homes. But if it does happen to be close to some established communities, you can compare those home prices to see if these new construction homes are way above the price of these resale homes. Then in that case, maybe it's not the most wise decision to buy a new construction home if you could get something a bit less expensive with a home that's already built. It also depends on if the builder is giving you a really good deal on the interest rate or other incentives. Now, if you happen to be in a market where the home prices are pretty stable, then those kinds of markets are probably more ideal to buy in. The markets that have seen large price decreases month over month for a little while now are the markets I would really watch out for. The major red flag that I would look for when buying a new construction home in a market where there's a lot of price decreases on all homes, new construction homes and resale, then I would be really cautious about buying new construction homes, especially if they're priced above resale homes. In that case, I would try to wait until it looks like the home prices have gone to their bottom, because of course you don't want to buy at the top of the market and then price decreases, then you're underwater on your mortgage, which means that your home is worth less than what you owe on the actual property. I think by working closely with your real estate agent, you should be able to determine if it's a good time to buy a new construction home, but definitely proceed with caution because new construction home prices are falling, and that could be a key indicator for a housing market crash. Check out this video to learn how to buy a new construction home, or this playlist about new construction homes. If you have any real estate questions, my contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching to the end, especially if you're a subscriber.